Hello and welcome back. My name is Mishkakuma and this is episode 6 of the RuneScape 3 League series. Last time we had just unlocked tier 7, which we had picked the Ascension perk. However, it's not too useful for us at the moment because we are not looking to do combat, at least until we get our invention perk bug fixed. The important thing that came with unlocking tier 7 is that we now have 16 times XP rates. With the maximum XP rates, I think it's time for me to do some of the longer grinds that I've been pushing off. First off, agility. We need 85 agility to be able to fully complete the Anachronia course. So I headed off to Het's Oasis, got up to 77, went over to the Prifidonus course. While I was running the Prif course, I was actually pickpocketing the Prif elves there. And after we got to level 80 at the Prif course, we took a couple of the summer pies we had gotten while pickpocketing and headed over to Anachronia. Now, I spent a good amount of time here in Anachronia, as you'll see, but it takes a little over 3 hours to farm up enough codex pages by doing full laps. So if you have 85 agility, a full lap completion awards an additional 10 pages. It over doubles the speed in which it takes to get a codex. So after a grueling 3 hours, I had finally grinded up my first 500 codex pages, and out of my excitement, I accidentally crafted the double escape codex. And let me tell you, I was absolutely devastated. I felt horrible. I was like, "Oh man, I can't believe I did it." I was just like, I did not want to think about having to do another 3 hours of the course. So after utterly screwing up like that, I just decided I needed to take a break and clear my head. So I went to do As a Force Resort quest. It unlocked the ability for me to buy a bunch of raw meats that I could use for summoning and later on player-owned farms. With that little quick detour to clear my head, I went back and farmed up another 500 codex pages, which pushed us to almost 18 million agility XP. Now we have double surge. And let me tell you, having double surge is so much fun. In addition to the 4.8 second cooldown, they both have their own internal cooldown, which makes it extremely fun to run around with. After completing the double surge, I felt a little lost on what I wanted to do. I didn't really have a huge goal in mind, so I decided to just knock out a few quests that would give a decent chunk of XP as well as something useful unlocked. I went and did the full fairy tale quest series, part 1, part 2, and part 3. Part 2 unlocks the ability for you to use fairy rings, and part 3 allows you to use fairy rings without a Drayman staff. I also did some of the glow-free Tree Gnome Village quest lines, the one that award a good chunk of runecrafting XP, just because at the time runecrafting was my lowest skill. Next up, I decided to work on upgrading my gear. Like I said previously, I don't plan on doing a lot of PVM until I can get my best in slot perks. It just feels kind of like a waste of time. I know the power difference probably isn't that massive, but there's so many different things I want to do, and it just feels like if I'm kind of being gated out of something due to a bug, I don't want to do that thing, and I'll just work on things that aren't gated out. Granted, at the moment, current day, I am running out of those things to do, but hopefully they're going to fix this bug soon, crossing my fingers. So like I said, I don't plan on upgrading my gear for the time being. I do want to upgrade my weapons. So my first task, I went to upgrade my gear for tier 80, was to do a round of God Wars Dungeon 1 bosses. It was really easy, with the Assassin's Relic teleport taking me straight to the dungeon. That took me probably less than like 30 minutes to complete. However, I also went on to do the second task. So the nice thing about upgrading necromancy gear, there are two different path lines you can go down. Once you craft your gear up to tier 60, you have a choice. You either go into tier 70 tank or tier 70 power. And depending on which route you go, there's different quests. So the tier 70 power armor is those quests are quite more difficult than the tank ones. And I decided to just do the tank ones again because they were easier And whether you do power or tank quest lines, they both give you the weapon unlocks. So by doing tier 90 tank, which was extremely easier, I haven't even done tier 90 power yet. Tier 90 tank was easier than tier 80 power quests. I was able to unlock tier 90 weapons. But it was still quite difficult. We did have to go to God Wars Dungeon 2 and kill each boss quite a few times to collect 10 unpowered essence from each. Most of them were pretty easy, but Gregor really messed me up. I don't know, maybe I just don't know how to do that boss, but I did not have fun doing that boss. But with all the essence collected, we just had to empower them. So for the Furies, we needed to restore 10 damaged artifacts from the Infernal Dig site. Luckily, I had most of these already ready to go. For Suir, needed to open 10 crystal chests in Prif. We already had our crystal keys, so it was perfect. Faceless, we needed to craft miasma runes and we already have the rune crafting level for that. Not a problem. And the last one for Dragon Riders was really easy. Just had to sit and take 10 hits of Dragon Fire from dragons. I just ran out to the wilderness and just tagged a couple of blue dragons and had that one done like literally in a minute. The other thing that we needed for our upgrade was a pulsating onyx. Um, it's basically an onyx that just you have to have in your inventory when you kill Jad in fight caves. And I don't have any onyxes. There are a few ways to get onyxes, but the one guaranteed way to get it is by killing Zuck. It's basically fight caves, but a little harder. It's not too hard, it's just a little harder. So we headed there, we got our guaranteed onyx, we took it into the fight caves, got it upgraded to the pulsating onyx, and with that we were able to craft our tier 90 weapons. Since I had just killed Zuck and I was feeling pretty confident, it was pretty easy. I went back there, I cleared Zuck again to get us our necromancy cape. Not our best in slot, but a pretty good one. And I ran it one more time to get another onyx. That way we'd be able to craft ourselves a Luck of the Dwarves, which is a tier 4 luck ring. I probably should farm up a couple more onyxes, but I'm hoping as soon as we head into PVM, we'll be doing stuff like Araxor and different dungeons, things that will drop onyxes for us. So I don't want to run Zuck too many times just to get random onyxes here and there. With all of this completed and setting me up in a great position to hit the ground running once they fix the bug, I finally got an idea of what I wanted to work on next, time runes. More specifically, the advanced time spell. The advanced time spell allows you, as it says, to advance time in many of the time-gated activities. I honestly had no idea how useful or useless this would be, but I really wanted to get it and try it out. I tried rune crafting some runes through ZMI. ZMI is a low-level rune crafting altar. It's quite neat because you take a full inventory of essence there and you craft it, and it'll craft you a whole load of different runes, and you can actually craft runes higher than your level. So I was curious about how viable it would be to craft time runes that way. Maybe after like 10 inventories, I had like 4. It was interesting to try, but didn't work out, unfortunately. So at that point, I kind of realized if I wanted to craft time runes, I would have to get to 100 rune crafting. I went back to archaeology and unlocked 2 perks to help with the rune crafting grind. First off, I unlocked the Nexus mod, which allows me to teleport straight to the center of the abyss when I enter it. And secondly, the pouch protector, which prevents our pouches from degrading. Both 2 huge quality of life relics. I then went to try Abyss rune crafting, but it still felt incredibly slow, even with 16 times XP rates. So I decided to look into some alternative methods of gaining experience. And I don't know what came over me, but I had this great idea. Let's go do the vampire storyline. You know, the really long, annoying one in Mauritania that everybody hates doing. The last couple of quests there give you a couple of books that give you 75,000 XP per, and it gives you 3 of those per quest. And I was like, oh, this was perfect. It'll get me up to 90 rune crafting. With 90 rune crafting, I'll be able to craft soul runes. I looked up online, soul runes are like 500k XP an hour, something absolutely absurd. I was like, all right, perfect. Let's do this. So I went through, I knocked out all these quests: Legacy of the Seergaze, Branches of Darkmere, Lord of Vampirium. And after getting 92 runecrafting, we headed into the Abyss just to find out we can't craft soul runes yet. There's actually a quest needed to craft soul runes. And here you can kind of see me scrolling through the quest log, trying to figure out what quest exactly I needed to be able to craft soul runes. And I'm kind of coming to the realization that maybe we're not going to do soul runes. You need to have this quest called Fight Club, which is a very short quest, very easy quest. It has one quest requirement, which is one man in the north. Now, one man in the north, again, not too big of a deal of quests. It's, you know, medium length, but it does have one big requirement, which is do no evil and crocodile tears. And kind of as I was clicking through, taking a look at all the quests I needed to do, I was like, do I really want to do all these quests? Is it worth me doing these quests to then when I could just spend that time doing runecrafting? And I decided if I'm gonna have to level runecrafting up more past 99, I may as well unlock this method now. So I kind of, you know, I pulled up my quick guides on my browser tabs. I saw I had about 8 quests to do, and I just started knocking them out. You know, we did some monkey madness. We freed the monkey from Recipe for Disaster. I headed over. We did dig site. We did animal magnetism for the Ava's accumulator. And then after that, we kind of ran into a couple of issues. Although we needed to complete 8 quests to do Fight Club, which is the requirement that's listed on the quest guides, the actual requirements was a lot more. There were a few. We needed to do Creature of Frankenstein to get the Ring of Karos. We needed that so we could fully complete the temple. I mean, there were just so many, like, as I was questing, more quests were coming up. I think all in all, I ended up doing about 13 quests or like mini side quests. But let me tell you what, we persisted. We knocked it all in about a day, maybe over the course of 2 days. And then I came all the way to the soul altar just to realize you need actually a soul talisman. Doing the quest that's required for the soul altar does not give you a soul talisman. So I went to do some shifting tombs. I did not have the Slayer level to kill the Slayer monster for it. I don't know if I got really lucky. I'm assuming it's boosted rates. It's supposed to be 1 in 200 from some sarcophagi. It's supposed to be 1 in 200 drop rate from sarcophagi and shifting tombs, and I managed to get it after my like 6th or 7th one, which was a huge relief. I was not in a good mood at that point. So with 90 rune crafting out of the way, we have our soul talisman, we have our soul runes. We got to 100 rune crafting. It was pretty easy. Took about 2-3 hours. It's nice. It's a nice AFK method, you know, like a lot of rune crafting where you have to run back and forth constantly. Gave you nice little breaks in between. So I actually quite enjoyed that, and I'm actually looking forward to training some more rune crafting in the future through that method. So with 100 rune crafting, we headed to the time altar and we crafted our first inventory of time runes. I did a couple of trips. I had these catalytic, I forgot what they're called. Catalytic. I had a few catalytic anima stones from a little bit of Slayer I did early on. Helped us craft a nice pile of time runes right at the beginning. And with these time runes, we headed over to Anachronia, and we actually sped up the building of our Anachronia a lot. I think all in all, it takes about 45 days to get to the point our Anachronia is at now. And we managed to do that all in just like under like 20 minutes. It was quite fun to do. That unlocks most of our buildings at tier 2. We did get our town hall, storehouse, and sleeping quarters up to tier 3, giving us like the max amount ability for resources to come in. And we got everything up to tier 2 except for our spa. We actually upgraded to tier 3. but the rest of them require special items that you get while doing activities in Anachronia. So as soon as we get those items, we'll come back and upgrade those last few buildings. But Anachronia is done. We'll need to run around, get some totems, and mess around there some more. But I'm not worried about that for now, as I don't have the Slayer level to kill a lot of the monsters, as well as I don't have the Hunter level to be able to do big game Hunter there. It is something that I'm planning on working towards quite soon. But for now, we're just gonna move on. I also went and tested this at player-owned farms, and I learned something quite interesting but problematic. So the way the advanced time spell is supposed to work is it basically takes the activity and it progresses it forward by 24 hours. It works great in Anachronia. No issues there. However, here at Player Owned Farms, it does progress your animals forward by 24 hours, but it doesn't progress the cooldowns of things by 24 hours. So for example, the biggest mechanism of Player Owned Farms is you grow a bunch of animals and then you sell them for beans. You have these buyers that come, they have a limited supply of they want to buy every day. And once they bought their limit, they're not going to come back for another 2 days. And the advanced time spell doesn't actually bring them back sooner. It's not necessarily a huge problem. You just can't force player owned farms to full completion in one day. You really should start player owned farms like ASAP, start building up beans as much as you can. That way, once you have a good set of beans and you've leveled up your farm a bit, you'll be able to progress with the advanced time spell more efficiently. I'm going to go back there and play around with it and try and figure out how I can progress there. But it doesn't work well, unfortunately. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun. 2 really huge grinds. I really want to thank you all so much for all your support, watching the videos, commenting, liking, subscribing. It means so much to me. I've been enjoying League so much. I hope you all are having as much fun as I am. And until next time, have a good day. Bye-bye.